Breaking news. The United States is employing top-level Russian spies in an attempt to undermine Putin's authority. The United States and its allies are trying to recruit high-ranking Russian officials to spy for the West in order to take advantage of the weaknesses in the regime of Russian President Vladimir Putin. The shocking but brief rebellion of Yevgeny Prigozhin, a former ally of Putin who turned his private military Wagner group against the Kremlin at the end of last month, has given new urgency to the effort. To recruit among the Russian elite, CIA Director William Burns has touted the rift as a once-in-a-generation opportunity to exploit fissures in Moscow's ruling elite. "I think Putin is already a little bit uneasy as he looks over his shoulder," Burns said Thursday at the Aspen Security Forum. A rare speech by the head of the United Kingdom's Foreign Intelligence Service, MI6, earlier this week echoed the call for Russians who are appalled by Putin's war in Ukraine to reach out to Western intelligence, and the CIA director's comments follow suit. "There are many Russians today who are silently appalled by the sight of their armed forces pulverizing Ukrainian cities, expelling innocent families from their homes, and kidnapping thousands of children," MI6 Chief Richard Moore said in a speech on Wednesday in Prague. "I hope they'll follow the example set by others over the past 18 months and come together with us." He added, "Our door is always open." The public statements are an extension of the CIA's and the FBI's efforts to win over Russians who are unhappy with Putin's war. According to Burns, the CIA's May telegram video explaining to Russians how to covertly get in touch with the agency received 2.5 million views in its first week online. The video, which is presented in Russian, shows fictional Russians debating whether or not to contact the CIA, and it demonstrates how the use of dark web portals can protect their communications from being monitored. In Russia, where popular social media platforms like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram are restricted, the messaging app has become increasingly popular. In today's Russia, it remains very difficult to speak out, and telling the truth often carries serious consequences, a CIA official, granted anonymity to discuss intelligence matters, told The Hill. "The CIA," they said, "wants to know the truth about Russia, and we are looking for trustworthy people who can tell it to us and with whom we can communicate securely." The target audience consists of high-ranking Russian government officials and businesspeople with ties to strategic sectors like the military, intelligence services, scientific research, and technology. "People may also be unaware that what they know is of great value to us," the official added. The official continued, "We're interested in advanced science, military and cyber technology, financial information, sources of valuable data, and foreign policy secrets," noting that details about Russian leadership and the economy are also highly sought after. Opponents of Putin and his government in Russia face grave risks. According to Freedom House's research director Yana Gorokovskaya, speaking out in any way is extremely risky in Russia due to the country's near-total elimination of political freedoms. The Kremlin has punished people very severely for speaking out against the war, even in the most benign ways, such as saying, "This is a war, and Russian soldiers shouldn't be dying in this way," she said. As one commentator put it, the cost of speaking out is much higher now than it was 20 years ago. Assassination attempts and lengthy prison terms have been used against both hidden and open government critics. Former Russian military intelligence official and UK double agent Sergei Skripal was poisoned in Bristol, England in 2018, but he miraculously survived. The State Department condemned the April conviction and 25-year sentence handed down to Russian opposition activist Vladimir Kara-Murza for treason for his opposition to Russia's war in Ukraine. Alexei Navalny, the leader of the opposition who was imprisoned and survived an alleged assassination attempt in August 2020, is currently serving a 20-year sentence on extremism charges that he and his supporters view as an attempt to silence dissent. From behind bars, Navalny said, "Everyone in Russia knows that he who seeks justice in court is completely defenseless," which was read by his supporters. Rather than resorting to law, disputes are resolved through bargaining, authority, bribery, deceit, and betrayal, as the saying goes. In his Aspen speech, Burns referred to Putin as the ultimate apostle of payback, and joked that Prigozhin, who is thought to be in exile in Belarus as part of a deal with Putin that ended the rebellion, should keep his food taster on the payroll. Putin's paranoia seems to extend to his closest associates as well. After it was reported that Russia's top general, Sergei Surovikin, may have known about Prigozhin's mutiny plans in advance, Surovikin suddenly vanished from public view. Senior fellow with the Transnational Threats Project at the Center for Strategic and International Studies Daniel Byman emailed The Hill, "An atmosphere of paranoia is very bad for any organization. You don't share information properly, you don't trust people, you fire people, etc. There are likely many Russian officials who are unhappy with the war, whose financial situation has worsened, making them more susceptible to financial inducements, or who are otherwise more open to the idea of spying than they were before. There may be walk-in customers," he said. Even if the recruitment effort fails, Byman said, the perception being created is that there are a lot of potential US, UK etc. spies or potential spies. Although the State Department's Rewards for Justice program offers substantial compensation for actionable intelligence for a basket of U.S. national security priorities, the CIA does not explicitly mention financial benefits in its recruitment pitch. But making an impact and having sway appears to be the main selling points. The head of Britain's MI6, Jonathan Moore, has stated that the agency is seeking Russian nationals who can help us to bring an end to the bloodshed in Ukraine. This is not necessarily a reference to the overthrow of Putin. Nothing can be done to change the current situation in Russia. Moore said this in an interview with Politico after his speech. What happens in Russia is down to Russians in the end. Burns, in his Aspen remarks, said the United States and the United Kingdom are aimed at the same objective, but a CIA official who spoke to The Hill said the agency is also interested in developments inside Russia. While learning more about Russia's invasion of Ukraine remains a top priority, we also want to learn more about the country as a whole because we see this as a symptom of deeper problems within the Russian system. When someone finally decides to contact the CIA, what can they anticipate? Please be patient, we would say. We appreciate your bravery, and we'll respond in the most prudent way possible.